If you've ever taken a deposition or observed a deposition, been in a bankruptcy court, counseled the debtor, counseled, and that debtor can be a company. It doesn't have to be just an individual. But bringing in those real life experiences, that's powerful and that's special. So, go into that class with an idea of this is at least one anecdote that I will talk to the students about. That's impressive. And finally, but not least importantly, keep in mind we have a website, www.carechicago.org. And that was designed and created by Bonnie McDuffie here from Kirkland Ellis, the power behind the throne. And if you got that website's valuable to you in a couple of ways. One, it is loaded with presentation materials. You've seen a few of the presentation materials, but we also have a module on bankruptcy because we sometimes are requested for that. We have a Jeopardy game. Actually, we have a couple different versions of Jeopardy games that are tied to our materials that sometimes can be very effective in classes. What we say to the teachers, and what we've done for the last several years, is rather than trying to have everything on a thumb drive that you take to the school, is we call up when we find out from the school what presentations they want because of this questionnaire that Bill or Jeff referred to. You can direct the teacher to go to the website and tell them, download this presentation. You can guide them to where the presentation is. They'll download it onto their computer, and then it's right there for you. And this website is basically uploaded. I mean, it's updated real time. Bonnie is very fast, so we can keep it very, very current. That way, you don't need to worry about, do I have an old version of this or not? Generally, you'll have the very newest, most up-to-date version. But keep in mind the website. Do you have anything else?
Things to follow up on what Joe said. First of all, about taking questions during the class, it has been the practice in most of our presentations so far to take questions during the class. This is feedback we got from a teacher who observed that and thought that it was, and I think it's very, very good advice because one thing you deal with very often is when you take questions. In many, many classes, there'll be one kid who wants to ask a lot of questions, and it's often a very smart kid and certainly somebody who is actually quite comfortable in asking questions. But that you can be really derailed by that person, and then you find yourself in a situation. Oh, here comes another question, and how do you handle it? And then crowding out the other students. This is your first one, so you're okay.
Yeah, I got it.
Turn on the mic.
How do you feel, or has anybody tried sort of doing like Socratic, basically, and just going, I want you to answer the question?
We don't. I don't think we've ever tried it Socratically. Now, some of the slides do ask the class the question, and so they're going to shut it out. And haven't really. I'm waiting to see if we take this approach of not taking questions but still soliciting input. So that's going to create kind of a problem. But I would avoid anything Socratic because I think they're not going to be ready for it.
Yeah, one of the things I like doing is I bring a bag of candy, okay? And a lot of these things you could turn into questions and get interaction back and forth. Kids really like that. Obviously, they love the candy. Can't bring peanut candy or that kind of stuff. But I think it's a great way to keep them involved and interacted. You got to be careful, though, because it eats up a lot of time giving out the candy, et cetera. So if you have a limited amount of time, not the best thing, but I like turning as much as I can into questions for the students.
Second thing I want to talk about, follow up on what Joe said, is one thing about classroom disruptions. First of all, in every class, these are high school kids. You can have some kids who are looking the other way for part of it, and some of it is just going to happen. As you do it a few times, you're going to find that if you modulate your voice, if you or loudly, maybe slow it down a little bit, I have found you can kind of bring the attention back, and that works quite well, or you can step forward.
Walk around the room. Walk around the room. Just basic speaking techniques to break it up.
There for the more serious problems, and the more serious kids start to there. They usually have the way. We all have a couple stories where the teacher really didn't get involved, and we're trying to make a presentation, and you've got a couple kids who have got something else going on. I will tell you, it is more difficult in the big settings. At the end of the school year, it seems they want you to, we went to Lincolnshire, and 500 seniors, graduating seniors. It's the last day of school. Seniors, and now we're going to talk about financial literacy. I mean, it was a struggle, and they're way back, and they're all going like this, and but that's just if you take on a big presentation, you're going to have to be focused.
Before I close, do you have any other questions?
Oh, I'll add one thing.
Yeah.
Very, very practical. Equipment never works. And it never works no matter where you go. The fanciest school with tech people or the school that's dependent on the teacher, always be backup. I mean, I just found you may send the program to the teacher beforehand or tell them where to find it. Have it in your pocket on a thumb drive. A. B. The videos are great because they worked here. Less than 1/3 of the time do the speakers work in schools. And so you may not be able to do the video. We've brought speakers with us sometimes, to plug in. We've brought projectors with us, and that creates its own problems. So just be prepared. I mean, you have to be prepared to, worst comes to worst, make the presentation without the aid of any.
This goes to my point about don't read the slides. It's easy to become dependent on the technology. Don't let the technology guide you. You've got to guide the presentation yourself.
I was just going to say, I actually bring these presentations printed out for myself in a notebook because I am terrified that the technology will not work at all. And at this point, I could probably do any one of these off the cuff, but I like having it there as a backup, just sort of comfort. And so I always bring it on paper, actually.
Yeah, and the other thing is, don't be scared to go do these. We'll pair you usually with someone who's got some experience.
You'll always be paired with a vet until you're ready to go yourself.
And you'll see, once you do one, they're a lot of fun. They really are.
Yeah, and that's the one thing that, and at least for me, is I mean, some of these schools you go into, and early in the morning, it's the dead of winter, and you're going far away from home to do this presentation. Like, high walking out of there. Got a lot of it, and it is really feel good about doing it.
Do you have other questions? Okay. So I think Bill referred to at the beginning, how do I get involved? Just leave me or send me or Bill or Jeff or Erica. Just send us your email address and say, I'd like to get on the distribution list. We'll add you to our BLAST distribution list. And then you'll see from time to time an invitation coming out saying, would you like to do a CARE presentation? You never have to sign up. You'll see on the distribution where it is, when it is, what time it is. So you only sign up for what you can manage in your schedule. We'll always pair you with a veteran until you're ready to go. But you got to get on the distribution list because that's the only way you're going to know about this. But then you have total optionality from that point on. Okay? So just, let us know. If you have questions, feel free to call any of us, contact any of us by email. We'll be glad to help you. We hope you can get involved. You will get involved and work on this program, which is very, very rewarding. Thank you very much.